Okay.
Okay, I was having a Zoom with someone the other day, and they were using this Whisper uh, capability from OpenAI to generate transcripts. And I was surprised the transcripts were very good. And I'm used to using, uh, Apple has some accessibility feature where they will do speech to text for you. And I often use that to save a lot of time with typing and so forth. And so I was sort of surprised at how well this Whisper capability works. Um, it's it already knows about various technical jargon, and so it's very good at recognizing that. And what I saw, there were hardly any mistakes at all. It does make mistakes from time to time, but I was really surprised and impressed. So this is from Make Use Of, how to make your own Windows. Turn squirts. Oh, Windows. This guy was using it on a Mac app with Whisper and Auto Hotkey. But there are, anyway, you might check into that with OpenAI. It's very impressive. Of course, they're probably, I'm not sure how much of the processing is done locally, how much of it is done on their server farm, how much access they have for your data. I'm sure there's terms and conditions that get into all of that. But it looks like something of interesting if you need accurate transcripts. It seemed to be more accurate than what Google does for its YouTube videos. So that's sort of a milestone right there. Unity, their game development tools for the Vision Pro are now available. There's a whole bunch of stuff popping up for the Vision Pro. So those are available in beta. So I know there's a lot of Unity developers out there who will be interested in that. This is an article from TechCrunch. Now, TechCrunch is a paid site, so if you want to read their articles, there's a fee. But we tried using OpenAI to generate marketing strategies, and it worked. And so it was sort of impressive. So it's sort of a, I guess, search engine optimization stuff. They were able to improve the traffic flow to their website with that. So TechCrunch has a lot of interesting things. I think I've seen they've got a lot of good things about creating a pitch deck if you're a startup, all that kind of stuff. So I'm going to be pretty quick, and as usual, I just briefly gloss over these articles, and then you can look at them in more detail. You'll be able to see the URL in the address bar or look up the title. Global PC market's ongoing collapse has been an opportunity for Mac to gain market share. I thought this was sort of interesting. There's been a collapse in the PC market to a certain extent, but there's a little chart here. You see all these companies, Lenovo, HP, Dell, Acer, and others in the Windows marketplace. Uh, their worldwide PC shipments have all been dropping. And Apple's, on the other hand, has been rising. So I thought that was interesting. Even though Apple had a pretty significant drop during the first half of the year. So it's interesting to see what that trend is.
Okay.
Go ahead. Okay. We talked a little bit about this last week. This is a VMware Fusion. So VMware allows you to run virtual machines on your computer. And they're just coming out with some new functionality for the Mac where they're supposedly dramatically improving their GPU support for Apple Silicon within VMware. So there's two main competing products for running virtual machines on the Mac. One is VMware, the other is Parallels. Historically, Parallels has been Parallels has had more frequent updates, and VMware less frequently. So anyways, but they're apparently coming out with an update. I don't know if it's out yet. This is a video from one of their developers that goes into a fair amount of detail about it. And so if you're interested in that, if you're trying to get the maximum performance out of virtual machines, this might be a good thing to look at. Just to backtrack a little bit and talk about virtual machines, if you haven't encountered them before, a lot of developers like to use virtual machines. In some cases, because they're afraid of trashing their computer with beta software development kits. For example, if you wanted to run Mac OS Sonoma, which is not released yet, the beta is available, but you might be pretty hesitant to run it on, a machine that you rely on, because it could very well, there's always a possibility with early beta software that you could trash your computer and have to rebuild it. So anyways, you may want to run something like Mac OS Sonoma in a virtual machine before you start running it sort of natively. So this could help you with that sort of thing. I've heard people say, I don't know why, but I've heard people say that you have to run Sonoma to run the beta, the Xcode beta for that includes Vision OS. To my knowledge, that is absolutely not true, because we've been working with that stuff, and you don't have to run it in Sonoma. Ventura is fine. So unless there's something that I don't know about. So anyways, this is interesting. OpenAI before has talked about having sort of a universal income. Dominique has talked about this before. I know this is something that she likes.
Yeah, I think that would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need this. Yeah.
So anyways, they're working on coming out with a WorldCoin crypto project that sort of supports that. And so it's interesting. I know they've been talking about this in the financial channels. There's also a move in the US government to try to provide a better framework for cryptocurrencies. Right now, it's sort of fuzzy what a cryptocurrency really is, whether it's classified as a security or whatnot. So Congress is trying to come up with a framework for that. There are some former SEC people who seem to be up to speed on crypto, and they're trying to suggest frameworks for that. So maybe that will happen. This is very interesting. I don't know if you've heard, but Twitter is rebranding itself.
On the X thing.
as
And
X.com.
it seems like they
It's ridiculous.
yeah, they kind of had the same mark as a Japanese rock star band.
Oh.
It's just like it's so small, but people are mad. It's like, hey,
Well,
that's our
that's destined to happen with something like X.com, right? It's
yeah,
going
right.
to happen.
Yeah.
And if you have try to have a simple trademark like that, you're going to run into these issues. I mean, even Apple, when they came out with the iPhone, for example, some networking company, it's on the tip of my tongue, they had the trademark on that. So Apple rolled out the iPhone, but they later had to settle with I think it was Cisco had the trademark on that. So they had to pay that for that. So anyways, I had wondered, X.com, he's talked about his AI company called X. Where did this come from? My wife tried to go to X.com on her work computer. It wouldn't let her go, and said, this is not a site that you should be going to on your work computer. So I don't know what that meant, but but anyways, I checked it out a little bit. And if you go back in the history of X.com into the Wayback Machine, this used to be the website for the PayPal Developer Network. Now, Elon Musk was involved early on in PayPal. And so presumably he was involved in this PayPal X developer network. And so that's probably where this has all come from.
If right now you type x.com, it goes to Elon Musk's Twitter homepage.
Yeah. That's it's sort of like, it reminds me of when Prince changed his name to some unprintable character or something like that.
Right.
And I thought, boy, that's a bold move to rebrand Twitter as X. We'll see how that works out. So we've sort of been expecting this. Here's something called, this is from the Hacker News. I love the Hacker News. It's become one of my favorite websites now. I follow it on a daily basis. Worm GPT, new AI tool allows cyber criminals to launch sophisticated cyber attacks. And so, this is what you would expect. They're using this type of technology to generate new cyber attacks. And sort of in that same vein, Fraud GPT, new AI tool, Fraud GPT emerges, tailored for sophisticated attacks. So this is another one. And so you're going to have this stuff all coming at you. I don't know what category this falls into. Google proposes a new tracking superpower in Chrome. And this is from appleinsider.com. Google may not be completely ready to give up website cookies just yet, but the company is certainly investigating alternatives like a user tracking ad platform built into one of the most popular web browsers available. I'm opening up all these tabs in Google today, particularly because I want the ads to show up. I normally use Firefox, and I have, ad blockers in there. And but I want the ads to show up because we're going to people's websites. And this is one of the reasons why I don't use Google, or why I don't use Chrome, because I don't want all this tracking stuff going on. And so anyways, Google is advancing tracking technology to the next level, I guess. And sort of related to that, Apple threatens to pull iMessage and FaceTime from UK amid surveillance demands. The UK is, I don't think the law has been passed, but there's a proposal for a surveillance law, basically to break into any encryption, give them sort of a backdoor into encryption so that they can search for things. Ostensibly it's for child protection stuff, it's for detection of terrorism, but really, when you talk about detection of terrorism, there's a whole lot of different searches that you might want to do for that. And so I think it really opens up sort of a broad mechanism for phishing into private data if you provide a backdoor into encryption for that sort of thing. And so Apple doesn't like that. And they've fought these types of things before. And so they're saying, if you're going to do this, then, hey guys, we're just going to pull out. We just don't want to subject our users to this. And we've talked before about how Apple is sort of a champion for privacy, and I applaud them for that. I just wish by default they wouldn't take my images on the iPhone and send them to the iCloud, send the originals to the iCloud, and then give me a more compressed version on the iPhone. I just, imaging is everything to me, and I can't afford to have any monkey business going on with my images. And this is an OpenAI letter on WhatsApp about this. So, a lot of companies have gotten behind the idea of not wanting to be subject to all this kinds of stuff. And so you can see a lot of signatories right here, including head of WhatsApp at Meta. This is we've talked a lot about the Apple Vision Pro. This is a good article from Mac Rumors. It's a video article. I'm sure you can find it at Mac Rumors website. It's on YouTube. Apple Vision Pro 1 month later. So this is a guy who had one of their writers for Mac Rumors who had tested the Vision Pro, and a lot of, when it was announced, and or I guess a week after it was announced, and a lot of people have asked questions to him about it and so forth. So he goes over that, and so it's a nice little YouTube video on that. So you might want to check that out. I won't steal his thunder, but there's a lot of things bubbling
How
up.
long is it, roughly?
I'm trying. Let's see here. I think I'll have to go through the ads to. It's interesting. Here, let's restart this.
Just refresh it, yeah.
We're on this incredible tour of a troll-themed Norwegian town, but we get into a dumb argument. Our guide saves the day, whispering from behind a troll statue. Don't fight! You're missing the view! One app, over 300,000 experiences you'll remember.
I don't know if
View more
anyone
with
else has
Viator.
noticed this, but YouTube seems to have gotten more aggressive about ads lately.
Yeah, right. Agree.
Apple announced the new Apple Vision Pro a little
So
over
it's
a month ago.
about
That was
9
the-
minutes.
Or I got the premium, so I don't have to deal with
Around
it
30
for
to
just that reason.
What's that?
I got the premium, so I don't have to deal with it for
Yeah.
just that reason.
Well, that's what they want you to do.
Right. They succeeded.
Yeah, basically. So anyways,
How, 8 minutes? Well, it's only 8 minutes. Why don't you play it?
no, I for copyright reasons, I don't feel comfortable doing that. And we've gotten penalized before
Really?
if we do that kind of thing. And they'll hold up the release of your video and so forth. So we don't
Yeah,
want-
something like that. Yeah.
So I'll
Really?
stop
So-
sharing.
Mm.
So, but why on that one? Because the week before we were sharing some links. What's the difference? What we can share as a link and what we can't, just so I know.
Well, I think you have to consider the source that you're sharing. And the way I try to deal with it is, for most copyright law, there's a lot associated with, if you provide something that lessens the demand for the copyright holder's content, then that's sort of a no-no. And so if we were to play their whole video, then why would anybody go to watch it on YouTube and look at their ads and so forth, or go to their website? So what I like to do is I like to provide some information and give a taste so that people will want to go to their website and experience, whatever promotional material they've got at the website. But so I'm not taking something away from them, because you can get into trouble for that, and we don't need the trouble.
Yeah, I mean, I personally will share something that I think that's not over popular. For example, if you share film or songs that is
Right.
too popular, we will
Yeah,
definitely get
no,
banned.
totally.
Yeah, so something maybe Apple, it feels like Apple is very careful about their something if they put
Well,
something inside that we don't know. Yeah.
If it's their promotional material, I don't think any of these companies mind if you show their promotional material.
Yeah.
But if it's a web publications article about such and such, they're not going to be too crazy about you stealing their thunder. If Meta has a 30-second video on some new thing that they've just released and they're promoting it, I don't think they would mind.
But if it's, go ahead.
So I don't think they would mind, people talking up their promotional video. But, if you've got journalists who are spending money and time to come up with content, I don't want to rob that from them.
Yeah.
Even though you're sharing the link, see, I think the way to approach that is to share the link in the chat. So,
You
I
can
mean,
do
especially, specifically like if it's new technology, um, uh, uh, videos or something like that, then you can cover it, I would think, by just sharing.
No, if you show enough so that nobody will want to go visit their website now because they've already seen it, then you've just, from a copyright standpoint, that's bad news. It
Yeah.
makes I'm very sensitive to these issues. I've done a lot of work in intellectual property, and I've worked with a lot of attorneys and so forth, and so I'm sensitive to these types of issues. And I know that Dominique doesn't want to get sued by anyone.
Yeah, I mean,
Legal budget is not that extensive.
we just wanna survive, you know, before we grow. Wanna like secretly grow. Yeah. Okay, so let me share with or Rick, do you want to share? Because we need to
Like I
hard
said,
stop.
I've been totally engrossed in learning Blender and
Oh, that's
and
fine.
working on content creation. So this week I just don't
No
have
worries,
any
no
to
worries.
show.
That's
Yeah,
fine.
okay. So yeah, so I will share
Unless
with
you want
you.
to see a bunch of tutorials on Blender.
Maybe, you know, one section we can invite Rick to teach us, I don't know, the Blender tutorials or some
Sure.
interesting things. And I believe people are interested in learning how to create a super cool factor and, you know, and maybe making a VR relaxing game. Okay, cool. Awesome. So,
By the way, this will be interesting. This article that you've got here will
oh,
be interesting to my wife because she teaches medical doctors how to do
yeah.
research.
Yeah, I think
Right.
this is a topic that when I see it starts getting kind of like before everything needs to be constrained by the role of open AI because everybody using their kind of API to create AI. However, the problem about open AI is that there's a certain date of the data they can do it, right? If before 2021, September, something like
2021,
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but aren't a lot of the plugins now that are available to OpenAI, aren't they supposed to help with that because they are they can web crawl current information and kind of fill that gap? That's what I, like. Well, and for instance,
Auto GPT, something like that.
no.
Yeah.
Because
For,
that's set up to crawl the web.
yeah. So actually this startup called Open Evidence. So it helps people to check the most up-to-date medical or anything related to medical evidence. Why this is important? Because the current one has problem. They only can do any information before September 21. And for example, like COVID, if you want to know the most recent COVID variations, you might not be able to because the current ChatGPT only you can find the COVID variants before September 2021. So this startup trying to get all the data up to date. So even beyond 2023, you still can get it because medical or all the public health, all those data, if we couldn't get everything up to date, so we might misinterpret all those stuff or get the medical like all the information are old. So I think this is very cool. And also this person has a previous success of his previous startup. His previous startup called Kensho Technologies is S&P Global for $550 million. So his previous startups helps Wall Street traders to analyze millions of market data points to help identify some opportunities. So I think this person has a good credibilities, understand AI, and also had a success background. So he immediately got the fundings.
Can you put that link in the chat?
Yeah, sure. It's from the article is from Forbes. So you can see he sold his company and now he is fully working on this. So if you see U.S. venture capital funding in healthcare, artificial intelligence, and machine learning startups. So yeah, this is not yet to be defined, but 2021, I think because of COVID, people spend a lot of money to help defeat the COVID, the virus. So there's a blooming around.
It's interesting how it drops so much. I mean,
Yeah.
it's down to levels between 2017 and well, we're not done with 2023 yet.
Yeah, right. But it's already half done, right? Halfway through.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So if you
Thank
see,
God is all I can say.
yeah.
I'm curious about, do they talk about liability issues of having errors in the information? Because that's a huge deal with medicine.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Do
So
they
if
talk
you the huge deals, problem, separate credibility, action. Yeah, if you see this, during COVID pandemic, the number of scientific studies about COVID-19 bloomed from 0 to tens of thousands of span. Yeah, tons of real or misinformation just kind of blooming. And this guy saw there's opportunities to solve these problems, to kind of verify and figure it out, eliminate the noise. So he thinks that these types of AI, machine learning, can really help us to get the most up to date and most accurate, the close to truth, the types of information. So yeah, I'm surprised why right now it's just 3 billion. What's going on? Yeah, if you see that venture capital investors have poured more than $46 billion into this startup over the past, this data is from PitchBook, peak at 13 billions in 2021 and down to 10.3 billion, and startup have raised 3 billion across 205 deals so far this year. Yeah, I think it's interesting why 2021 has 13.4 billion and now we only have 3 billion over 200.
Especially when the technology for all of this was not that mature back then.
Yeah.
Or well known, I should say.
Yeah, very interesting observation. Yeah, so this guy found open evidence back in November 2021. Oh, so when he founded this company is in this peak time, after
When it was
investing
really
5
needed.
million. Wow, how can someone invest 5 million of his own money?
Oh, it's pocket
Amazing.
change for
Big pocket.
for billionaires.
Wow. Yeah. So he opened around. Yeah. So yeah, he also opened his closed investors. Yeah. So
Yeah.
to date.
So some plugins like Video Insights will search current video content and transcripts from YouTube. Web Pilot will search current web links, and these are plugins for. And Chat with Video also parses through YouTube videos by anyway. Just to make your stuff a little more current in your search.
But that doesn't. I guess there's a question of whether that really feeds anything into the large language model of OpenAI.
Right. Yeah. Probably
You're
not.
sort of doing it parallel on the side.
What this guy is doing is probably very necessary and needed.
I
Yeah.
know that there are plugins for ChatGPT 4, for example, that greatly improve certain aspects of it, but that information is not incorporated into OpenAI's large language model itself. The plugin sort of runs in parallel to it and provides
Right,
additional
exactly.
information to the user that's helpful.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can use those plugins, like if you're trying to say research current state of scientific knowledge in something, you can use the AI Scholar to at least pull out some current data, and then you feed that into your current session of GPT chat and
Yeah.
let it process it.
And if you're allowing OpenAI to train on your session, I guess there's a switch that you can turn that on or off with.
Mhm.
But if you're allowing them to train on your session, then I guess in sort of a
You're training it yourself.
sort of a backdoor way, you're trading it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Just in case somebody has the need to do current research, that's the best we can do right now.
Yeah. By the way, Rick is one of our speakers for the next meeting. By the way, before Rick,
You mean Rosh? You mean Rosh, not Rick.
Rush. Yeah, Rush.
Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Rush. Yeah, so Rush, before the speaker event, we had a XR Weekly news event. So that's why you saw pretty much the previous, for this meeting is that we show up and we go around the table, we show what we see this week about XR. We've been doing this for past 3 or a couple of years, and every Saturday, just a couple of people gather together and share their news before the speaker event. So yeah, so that's why you saw, like, we were trying to figure it out what's going on with the world. And right now we talk about AI. Before we talk a lot about like NFT, metaverse, whatever topic, and now is AI is the new baby. So yeah, so I will stop sharing, or are you interested in seeing some extra news while waiting for them? Because it seems like you are.
I'm all ears listening, and I'm very interested in this. So
yeah, I mean, yeah.
You can catch the video. We'll post it on YouTube.
Yeah. So before
Moving along.
Jim shared a lot of really cool information, and now it's me. So the other news is that Google is training robot the way it trains AI chatbots. So imagine in the future we will have a lot of robots that can talk, can sing, can act, just imagine ChatGPT has a physical body. That's what I think. So before people think that, oh, ChatGPT couldn't, kind of construct a house. But I would say if you put a physical body for ChatGPT, it might be able to do a lot of things that we thought it couldn't right now. So so this is like the news from TheVerge.com. And people start thinking about, wow, this types of robot will be super crazy. It reminds people to think about Meta Head, which is a super scary machine dog that will kill people. So if you see those types of, I think there might be a copyright issue, but I can kind of pinpoint is that woman is trying to get away from a scary kind of a dog, right? Machine dog. So
Right.
yeah.
So that kind of training that you showed right before, it's nothing new in a way. It's what NVIDIA's been doing.
Yeah. So
with,
Black Mirror is the
Omniverse and training robotic machines in software first, and then just transmitting that that knowledge into the machines directly. So it's a natural evolution. Now that they have natural language processing, then it's natural that they're going to start training them with natural language processing, and it goes directly into the machine.
So if your machine dog bites your next door neighbor, who gets sued?
Google. Google
dog.
gets sued. Google.
The dog.
Google gets sued. Yeah.
Can I ask? I mean, you guys seem to be very knowledgeable. What's the story about ChatGPT 3.5 becoming dumber? There was this story about the a question being asked to it, a calculation or some kind.
I think even 3.4 got dumber. So I think it was both. Even more so 3.5. Yeah, I don't know the answer to that. Jim, you have anything on that?
I don't know, but these systems evolve over time.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
And so it may be that they're evolving in the wrong direction.
No, it's not. I remember what it was. It's because of all the safeties they're starting to program into it.
That could be. Yeah.
So they're trying, so therefore it has more and more is kind of a little less accessible. So that's probably the major reason, which is part of the natural evolution, because we want them to be safe.
Well, plus they want you to get the paid version, right? That's in their interests.
Yeah, maybe. But 4.0 is getting dumber too, and that's the paid version. So.
Yeah, maybe.
I think in this case it was a mathematical problem that was posed to it,
right?
And it was answering, was it like 80% correct? It was in the New York Times. I read that. I think it was 80% correct 6 months ago, and now it's like really bad now. And the opposite on 4.0.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Wait a minute, Rosh. So you say it was bad on 4.0 also?
So what the article said was 3.5 got dumber. So it was an 85 or 90% accuracy 6 months ago, and it's down to like under 10% now, or 7.4, I think. Yeah, here you go. Here it says.
Yeah, if you see this.
Yeah. Right. And then 4.0 became better.
Oh, okay.
Also, something there's a slump.
Maybe it's what Jim says. They want you to buy 4.0.
Oh, yeah, because 3.5
they
is the free
couldn't work
version.
out. They couldn't work out why. That was the thing. They didn't understand why. I mean, unless they're lying, but they couldn't understand why.
Maybe people use 3 and 4 and they skip 3.5 because 4 is so cool and 3 is the fever, right? So maybe 5 is the middle child that nobody loves.
I use 3.5 mostly. I mean, because 4.0, like even when you have the paid service, gets you kicked out after asking too many questions. 3.5 is.
I haven't had that experience, and I bang on it pretty strongly.
Really? I mean, I have the paid version, and 3.5. 3.5 is unlimited, but 4.0, if you ask more than I think 40 questions in a row, then it'll give you a timeout for like an hour or 2 hours. 40
questions in 3 hours or something like that.
But
what?
They're charging you for each of those hits, though, right? They're charging you extra.
No, it's a flat. It's a flat fee.
Flat fee, $20 a month.
20, yeah.
Oh, I thought they were. I was at a seminar with a company that offered a plugin, and they said, well, we try not to use 4.0 because they charge you extra for the additional hits.
I use 3.5.
Well, they might charge a company that is using it as part of their plugin. That may make sense. But that's because they're a plugin.
Well, you're paying. You have to supply it with an API key in order to use the plugin.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you so much.
In that case, it might be the case, but just GPT 4.0, you don't pay up to 40 questions. And I don't use it that strongly, so I guess I just haven't ran up against that.
Yeah.
But is it?
So my question is
it?
My question is
40 a
is
day?
if it keeps, I think it's 40 in a row, and then it timed me out into like says, "Oh, you've reached the maximum. Please wait until this time to ask to get back on 4.0. In the meantime, use 3.5." That's what it was. That's the message it was giving me in the thing.
Yeah.
But my question is, if AI is learning off information, what if it's learning off bad information?
Oh yeah, I read Wall Street Journal. One of the article talks about, or Apple News, one of the article talks about OpenAI hire developing country workers in Kenya, kind of pay $12.5 to hourly rate, and Kenya workers start feel uncomfortable or feel mental issues by seeing, absorbing all such abusive information from OpenAI. Because OpenAI, they outsource, you know that, for example, all the social media company outsource the harmful, abusive content moderation to third world countries which speak English-speaking countries. So a lot of developing countries, they feel miserable. Their workers start having mental instabilities just by absorbing 8 hours per day of all the abusive knowledge that need to be trained.
Horrible.
Yeah.
So let AI handle it then.
But no, but by making the AI really healthy for us to use, we need to, some people need to keep, validating whether this is a harmful and block or say no or not sharing. So some people being the person who define what's a harmful content is suffering. So
that'd be like a child being in a home where the parents constantly cuss. You know what I mean? So of course the child's gonna grow up damaged.
Well, OpenAI says that it's creating a system to do that automatically in the future. So a system to automatically check its chatbot in the future. But you wonder if they can do that, why can't they just improve the chatbot itself? So I don't know. There's a lot of resources that go into that checking. I know that they hire armies and armies of people. All these companies do.
Actually, it's $2.
There's so much data. Like I know, like one of the first things I played around with is I said, hey, what's the best motion capture suit in the world? It says, well, I can't choose. It says it can't tell you which one, but these are the ones that are available. And it gave our company as one of them, and then and one of our competitors as another one. But it had incorrect information about our product. And I said, oh, you're wrong. This suit does offer this product, and it said, oh, I'm sorry, I will correct that. And then so I fed it information. I was honest.
Curious.
I mean, what if I fed it? Yeah, what if I fed it wrong information?
Right.
What if I told him like,
Rosh,
you could just say that your product is the best by far.
Rosh, I got a question for you. So after you fed it that information and it corrected that information for you, did you try on another computer a couple of days later to ask the same question?
Yes,
and what happened?
And it had integrated that information in.
Cool.
Good. That's good.
Yeah.
Good.
But what if I give it wrong information? What if I
in other words, your competitor, like what if your competitor gives it wrong information?
Like Coca-Cola saying my drink is better and it has magical effects and everything like that.
Right. Yeah.
And it's just it's just accepting it. It's just saying, yes, you're right. Your product has magical.
Well, that's one thing I've definitely noticed.
Magical mushrooms.
That's one thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing I've definitely noticed about AI, and it's in part why it's become popular, because it wants to give you the answer you want to hear.
Yeah.
And you can really see that.
Manipulate it.
If you're doing something like artistic or anything like that, it's going to it's going to try to tell you have brilliant ideas and you have great, indirectly you have, it just does that. So that's kind of good, but kind of bad too.
Dom, you know,
Yeah.
we may want to break here and
Yeah, I think
get off this
we,
recording.
yeah, I will stop recording.